Hello, all my art-loving friends out there. Today we're going to be taking a look at 14 beautiful blues. These all happen to be by the brand Aquatone, which is a brand from India that we have been looking at the past several weeks. Today, you see these blues here. I'll be swatching them and painting with them so you can really see what they look like. Let's get right into the swatching so we can go see the painting at the end. This one here is French Ultramarine. I do start by wetting halfway down the black line to the bottom so that we can see if anything happens when the paint hits the water. This is French Ultramarine. All of these in the blues here, this video, have light fast rating of 5 out of 5. So I won't say the light fast rating anymore. Just know they are all, according to Aquatone, 5 out of 5, which is the highest. This has semi-transparent properties. It's non-staining and it's granulating. It's a very pretty ultramarine, quite beautiful. And I'm going to leave in showing me wetting the pans for the first time because I don't pre-wet them when I do it like this. This one is just called regular old blue. It's a PB15. It is transparent, staining, and non-granulating. And while I'm thinking about it, at the very end of the video, I need your opinion on something regarding my channel and the way you guys view it. So I would really appreciate your feedback at the end of the video. Thank you so much in advance. However, back to swatching. This next one is Phthalo Blue Red shade. It's a PB15:1, transparent, staining, and non-granulating. These all seem pretty standard phthalos. Nothing remarkable about any of them. They're pretty typical. I paint an entire section of my painting with just these 3 phthalos, which is kind of fun. You'll see that coming up. So the next one here is Phthalo Blue Green shade. This one is the PB15:3, transparent, staining, and non-granulating. You can definitely see that greener tint to it in that diluted version there. Now we have one of my favorites, Prussian Blue, PB27, staining, semi-transparent, and non-granulating. Prussian Blues always surprise me because when they're wet, they go on the paper looking really bright. That's why I was double checking. I'm like, am I dipping into the right thing? Even though I know this about Prussian Blues. Anyway, they go on the paper really bright, but then as they dry, they darken to that beautiful dark blue. It's weird, it's interesting, and I love the way they dry, but it's hard to paint with them initially because they go on so bright. You're like, whoa, I don't want a bright color, but it's not bright when it dries, trust me. Another of my absolute favorite colors, Indanthrene Blue, PB60, transparent, semi-staining, and non-granulating. I just love this one because it's so deep blue. It's like a denim blue, just a pure blue. Darn it, that's all I have to say. That's all I can think of to say. It's just a color that I need on my palette, and definitely I'm going to have to remember that when I make my ultimate palette coming up, my studio palette. And now we have one you guys have seen before because this was featured heavily in the granulating tube set that I featured with these watercolors. This is Midnight Blue. It's a mixture of PB15 and PBK11, semi-opaque, semi-staining, and highly granulating. I will link that video for you up in the corner so that if you missed it, you can be sure to catch it. The painting that's done with basically just this color turns out really neat. You can see all the different levels of granulation you can get with this color. This one here is Indigo. It's a PB15, a PV19, and a PBK7. It is transparent, staining, and non-granulating. This is another one that dries a little bit darker than it initially goes on, but not too much. A little more true to its wet form than the Prussian Blue. Kind of interestingly, this next one is Indigo Carmine. This is the NB2 pigment, so natural blue, natural indigo, whatever you want to call that, but they call it Indigo Carmine. Go figure. It is semi-transparent, staining, and non-granulating, and it's quite pretty. Now we're getting into the pigments that have white added in. This one is a new color of theirs called Sky Blue. It was only in their full pan set, but I saw you can get a tube of it now. It's PB15 and PW6. It's opaque, semi-staining, and non-granulating. I think it would make a beautiful sky blue, personally. It dries a little lighter than you're seeing it go down here, which is interesting. You'll see that at the end. This one here is Royal Blue, PB29, PB15:1, and PW6. It's a little softer, gentler than the sky blue. It is opaque, semi-staining, and granulating. And I accidentally swatched this one twice, but luckily I caught it in editing here, so you don't have to watch it twice. It's quite a nice color, but I don't know if it was worth swatching twice over. This one of my favorites, Cobalt Blue Hue, PB29, PB15, and PW6. It is semi-transparent, semi-staining, and non-granulating. I think I prefer cobalt blues over ultramarine blues. Isn't that interesting? It's something that I have just learned about myself through these years of painting, that if there's a cobalt blue on my palette, I tend to go for it over my ultramarine. This one is Ultramarine Turquoise, PB29, PG7, PR254, semi-transparent, semi-staining, and granulating. That PB29 and the PG7 really start to separate once it dries. I don't notice the PR254 in it so much, but beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Then we have the Phthalo Turquoise. This is PB15 mixed with PG7. It is transparent, staining, and non-granulating. I probably could have put these last two in with the greens for next week's video, but I just didn't know that at the time. And actually, they go really well in the painting with the blues that I'm doing at the end of this video, so I think I made the right choice. And I'll show these again to you dry, but not up close. Unfortunately, I missed that in filming, and I am not home. But I would like to know which one or ones are your favorite blues, or is your favorite blue. And here I noticed I spilled some water on that one. Oops, that's okay. And then the paper warped really badly right in the middle there, so that swatch right there I felt I needed to redo because it backwashed, and so I did that again over there on the very bottom right, that one and that one. So they're the same color. Interesting, dry versus wet, huh? That's the Prussian blue. And now we get to move on to the painting part. This is exciting. So I wet the entire background. You see I sketched some daisies on there, or things that look similar to daisies anyway. This is my Hanamule 100% cotton sketchbook. I do not like the paper in here for watercolor, but I am trying to use it up, and I have 2 or 3 other sketchbooks of the same variety that I think I might try and use with acrylic paint and acrylic markers instead. Maybe still watercolor once in a while, but it just doesn't behave well for watercolor. And when I started these flowers, I was like, oh yeah, this paper. You put a mark down and it will dry almost immediately. It's just like right here, you can see, I just put that mark down and that line is already dry, so I had to scrub over it a little bit. So a little frustrating. So that top flower was just a mix of the Prussian blue and I think the Indanthrene blue. This one I wanted to use the Ultramarine Turquoise and the Phthalo Turquoise a little bit more. So those are the main colors in this flower, with the exception of the darkest darks. I did go ahead and use, I believe this one was the Indanthrene blue for these petals you're seeing right here. And with some of that blue all in the background like that, it definitely made these two colors, the Ultramarine Turquoise and Phthalo Turquoise, fit in a little bit better. And then of course the dark going over the top of these helps as well. So I am mixing the Ultramarine Turquoise or the Phthalo Turquoise with the Indanthrene blue for the petals. So it's not just one color or the other. It's basically a mixture of 2 of the 3 at any time. And I tried to keep the lighter part with just the ultramarine turquoise or the phthalo turquoise. And I apologize for the audio in this video. Yeah, that was right. Anyway, I am not at home and I'm in a building that has a lot of HVAC and I just can't get away from it. So I apologize. Hopefully this will be the only video like this. If I try this again, I will try and bring a microphone because this is not great. However, back to the painting, which is fun. I wasn't going to say it's great because it's not my greatest painting ever, but it's fun. This is now the sky blue. And it's so pretty. Of course, that's not sky blue there. That's sky blue mixed with indigo. And you can see how it made that indigo so much more opaque. So that's something to keep in mind. Very pretty though. That sky blue is just, I don't know. It's soft and peaceful. I love it. I'm using one of the Miranda watercolor brushes and they finally have them separate from the big watercolor kit. So you can get this brush set now separately. I don't know if you can get it on Amazon, but I did see it on their website. So they're really great brushes. I love them so far. This one here is the royal blue, so a little bit different. And up here, I mixed the 3 PB15s. So I started with the regular blue PB15. The next petal I switched to phthalo blue red shade, which is the PB15:1, and the petal after that, the phthalo blue green shade, PB15:3, and just alternated for all of the rest of the petals. That definitely did make this particular flower stand out as brighter than the rest because phthalos are bright. However, I wanted to do that to test these colors and I think it's kind of fun. I did double up a couple of the colors in a few sections. You can kind of see that over there on the left, but I felt that was necessary and I always do what I feel is necessary. You can see that basically stain down underneath this flower. I will soften that later in the video with a little bit of a chisel brush. Now the last flower we're going to get to in a second is a really fun one because it's all just the cobalt blue hue. I love this one. I already told you I love it. Anyway, this is the PB29, PB15, and PW6. Just a beautiful, beautiful color. Even though it's a hue, I like it just as much as the other cobalts, except obviously I haven't used it in a painting with the sky, which is where I sometimes use cobalts in other paintings depending on the type of sky I want, if I don't mind the granulation. The nice thing about this one is non-granulating supposedly. That's what Aquatone says. So if you want to use it in a sky, it might be a little bit better without that granulation. Even though it has PB29 in it, I guess it has enough of the other colors. They're considering it non-granulating. I'll have to test it on a big wash. Unfortunately, I didn't think to do that in this video, but I'll be doing it in the future. And after I had all the flowers painted, I felt like I needed to push the contrast on a little bit of them. And I probably could push the contrast even a little bit more, but this step alone helped a bunch. And it's just a fun doodle painting, so I didn't mind it at all at the end there. I do soften out a few things like I mentioned with that chisel brush, and I think that helped. And I painted that glaring white spot that already went away in the top corner. And here's the tape peel. Something nice about those clean edges. And Michael, I did use my heat gun on the tape this time, so it didn't rip. And I made sure the page was completely dry, which is very important. And there it is. Doing a little bit of white out on that. I didn't let it dry and go over it again, but I can. And here's a lot closer view of it. I did put some water droplets on the background. I didn't show on video because I had just turned the camera off, and then I'm like, hey, I should splatter some water on this. So you guys missed that, but you can see the effect of it here. And all those different colors. Not bad. There's all the blues. Well, thank you so much. Stay tuned for that update question I have for you guys regarding my channel. I really appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video if you don't stay for the update. So just in case, bye for now. Okay, these have been my thumbnails for my channel for a long time, and what I need to ask you is I have changed my thumbnails recently. I just felt like I was ready for something different. You've probably noticed and maybe not recognized, oh, that's one of my videos because I changed my thumbnails, but I change the colors on the background every year, and when I went to this yellow, I just kind of fell out of love with it, and I kind of like this more simple look of these two you're seeing right now, and I think I want to go with those for a while. So I guess this is just a heads up. Please look for different thumbnails. I'm going to try and keep the font the same as you're seeing on the Aquatone pinks and purples thumbnail. But I do want to know your opinion on if you're okay with me trying the new thumbnails. Do you really prefer the old ones better? Please let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate your feedback. Show you my studio buddies. There's Cassie Poo. Maybe I'll call her Grumpy Poo today. Chica. Lazy ornery little thing here. Across my working desk too. Miss Molly. Hi, Miss Molly. And Daisy. Daisy doesn't like cameras. Do ya? She's like, I'm out. I'm out. And Mr. Jack Jack. He has claimed this couch. I was thinking about taking this couch out of the studio. He will be so lost if I do that. He won't know what to do. I'll have to put a dog bed in here. Duffy doesn't usually lay in here. Duffy usually lays out in the basement on the cool floor. Yeah, there's the Duffsters. Hi, you need brushed and bathed so badly. Yeah. I want to see your face. Hi. He's nervous.